it's loose. Part 19 of 30, should you do a job you love? So for anyone new, I'm gonna assume by the fact you found this video, you're curious about, exploring other things. If you have been following, I need to tell you, and this kind of sets the scene before we get into should you do a job you love. Part 17 talks about what to do when you get stuck. Now, I've got to fess up, yesterday I got properly stuck to the point of, I've committed to these 30-day suite of videos, one a day. And yesterday I tried to do, should you do a job you love? I tried something else. I got to the tips. I was like, this kind of paralysis where I had, so if you are following, don't watch yesterday's, the pros and cons of working for yourself. You'll learn that I had my appendix out and I couldn't work. In a nutshell, it was this moment of, this is an honest vlog of the things that have happened to me. So in real time, yesterday, I got stuck. I'd been for a swim with my friend. I was meeting my friends in the evening. I could not find the thing. So ignore part 17. Should you do a job you love? So today, let's try again. And why I'm able to come to you now and record this is because, as I've said in How You Get Unstuck in part 17, seek out inspiration. So this morning I woke up, I was like, what's going to set me up today? I went for a walk with my mother-in-law. It's pouring with rain. I thought maybe she might like the company. I know I certainly would. We've been for a walk, come home, run a bath. And I thought, okay, where am I going to go with this? Last night I was ready to delete TikTok, YouTube, absolute destruction. And this morning I thought, so there's a new guy that I've been following, his podcast, Chris Williamson. So I had a little look at his shorts, the things that he'd been chatting about. And then I looked at the other content on his YouTube channel. And there was one with Jimmy Carr. And I can't remember what it's titled or why I picked that one. I mean, it's 2.5 hours long. So I'm literally fresh out of the bath, having listened to this. But Jimmy said, and in the midst of, this ongoing conversation that they're having, he said, if you do a job you love, you'll never work again. And so that was the light bulb moment for me this morning, to then be able to come and say, should you do a job you love? Because if you've watched my previous videos, the things that I've been talking about, it doesn't feel like work. I enjoy what I do. Now, it's not for me to sit here and say, you should do a job you love, or you should go and start your own business, or whatever. That's responsibility. I think they call it agency on this podcast. Lots of cool words. Agency, responsibility for yourself. And let me give you an example of this, because about 8 years ago, I was starting to have, thoughts of, should I be doing something different? I don't know, I can't really, I haven't got an idea. I didn't have anything. I was just like, Somebody shared a Facebook post that said 10 pieces of advice from old people. Rule number 5 said, some people will do a job they love, but most people will do a job that they like most of the time. And that's okay, which is true. But in my situation, I didn't put myself in that, you could do a job you love. It's like, what you're doing now, Luce, you're happy in your job. Advice from old people, rule number 5, they might not be old. I don't know them. They may not even exist. It's come from somewhere, this thing, and I read it. And it sort of confirmed that what I was doing right now was okay, because that's what everybody, most people. So I was like, okay. When I think back now, a little bit of me inside kind of shrinks a bit, because, if you do the thing you love, you'll never work again. But it was the easy option for me. And so how I kind of perceive this now is the difference between advice, you're putting responsibility on someone else to say you should do this or you shouldn't do that, if you take advice from someone else, that rather than seeking opinions and making your own decision, if something goes really well, then you can't take full onus for that, because somebody will go, see, told you. And if it does go wrong, well, then you can put the blame, because it's like, you told me this, and if you've decided for yourself. And it's not the easy option always, evidently, because this Facebook, rule number 5, haunted me for years and left me in this place because somebody made it okay. I shirked responsibility and went, rule number 5. I quoted that, I shared it with my friends, to the point where, so what's the catalyst for big change? Because if something's not that bad, then there's no reason really to fix it. Now, everyone's life situation is going to be different, and you can either be prepared or you'll be struck by something so absolutely catastrophic that you find yourself having to make that change. Now, there was a catalyst, there is, and I'm not going to talk about that today. But to give you an analogy, because this happened this week as well, change happens all the time, and this is a metaphor, if you like. I've been out walking. The weather's been getting colder, so I've changed my coat for a warmer one. Now, I also have walking boots that I've started wearing, and they're old, and they leaked a bit the other day. And I thought, it's not that bad. My feet are a bit soggy, except the next day when I came to put them on, they were still damp. They're starting to get stinky. And of course, this week it's been torrential. So I've got these boots that are no longer fit for purpose that I'm now having to wear, which is really uncomfortable, to the point yesterday where I went, do you know what? I should have done this 2 weeks ago when I noticed that they were leaking, and I went and bought new waterproof boots, and I got a better pair than I did the last time because I use them every day. So before your feet are sopping wet and shit really hits the fan, my friend came round to my house and I had to put my boots outside because they were so stinky, I was embarrassed. Before, it's a metaphor. Before something really bad happens, make those changes. Otherwise you're kind of forced to do things, and it can be a lot. So kind of be prepared, but the onus on you. So maybe these videos, certainly if you're searching for, should you do a job you love? I'm guessing you're curious and you're exploring. So find opinions. I think perhaps tomorrow we'll come on to some of the people. I mean, I've talked about Chris Williamson today in his podcast. The people that I have found inspiring on this whole journey. Because there will be lots of advice out there, lots of opinions. Form your own. You'll find people to agree with you depending on what your narrative is. I took it from rule number 5 from old people. No, not anymore. I seek out opinions and I take my own advice. Not always the easiest of decisions, but the benefits, certainly if you've watched from part 1, the benefits of taking a leap or being brave, reap rewards. So, should you do a job you love? Only you will know. And I don't know if it was Jimmy Carr was quoting someone, but this is on the podcast that I heard this morning, real time. When you get stuck, seek out inspiration. See part 17. If you do something that you love, you'll never work again. Mwah.